Hello astronomers and welcome to the NEAF 2025, the Northeast Astronomy Forum in Southern New York, the largest telescope and astronomy show in the world. So this is the place where all the most important manufacturers with telescope, accessories or solution for astronomy come to display all the latest innovations, all the latest product, all the latest telescope. And you know what? I'm so proud that we have our own booth, our PrimaLuceLab booth. We are walking through it because 10 years ago, I still remember when I came here together with Omar, PrimaLuceLab head designer, to try to find out our first dealers in US. And right now we are among the most important brands in the world that show all the latest innovations. So it's beautiful to see a lot of telescopes, a lot of different solutions, and this reminds me of always of what we do to support the community, because essentially all the devices that we develop can support all of these type of telescopes, and it's so great to have them all here and talk to the different manufacturers, because it's also a moment to connect and network. And voila, this is our booth, and welcome to PrimaLuceLab booth. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Filippo.
Tell me what's new this year.
Oh, we're starting out with Eagle 6 this year.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
just
Eagle
released.
6 just came out. Starting with the Eagle 6 base model, the return of the Celeron model with a much more capable Celeron.
That's a very interesting solution, because this year we have an entry, let's say an entry-level Eagle 6 that is not really an entry-level.
Yeah.
Because we have a quad-core processor, more memory, and it comes with all the features of the Eagle.
All the new features that all the Eagles have. Yeah, and then up from the Celeron, we go to an i3 in the Eagle 6S, i5 in the Eagle 6 Pro, and now for this year, i7 running at 12 volts.
That's the most,
for the first time ever. That's the fastest Intel we've ever had.
That's why it's XTM, because it means extreme.
How many cores?
12.
12 cores.
12 core. Yeah. Wow, it's a monster. It essentially is a workstation built into your telescope. So you can run the most complex applications, do multiple instances, do also, if you want to process, dual telescope setup.
Lucky imaging.
There you go, anything, no limitation.
You name it.
Yeah, okay. So what's new on the Eagle 6 in respect to the Eagle 5?
My favorite feature is the new feature, lights out management.
I remember something very funny related to the lights out management, because as soon as development was complete, in the first stage, I had a call. I had to call you and tell you, hey Tom, we did this thing. I described to you, and we name it differently. You know?
It had a different name. I forget what it was.
I forget even. I can't remember. But you told me.
Yeah, I said I've seen this before in my career when I used to work in tech. The network devices that we used to work on had ports on them called lights out management that was independent from the operating system. That you could work, adjust or control the device remotely, independent of the operating system. So when you described the new feature, I was like, that's lights out management.
It seems like we reinvented the wheel, but we integrated into the Eagle.
But now you have an enterprise networking solution built into
your telescope.
Eagle telescope.
And what's the advantage of the lights out management?
So that will let you control all of the ports and get the data from the Eagle without the Eagle having to even be booted. You can remotely turn the Eagle on and off.
That's the first thing, very important, because it's one of the main requests from our customers. They want to turn it on without having to press the on button. Because for them, a remote may be very far away. So if the telescope is not in your backyard, but is 100 miles far away from you, how can you turn it on remotely? So up to now, what they did was to use the power on
network power port, and then set the BIOS to automatically boot.
It was not really easy.
It worked. Little cumbersome. But now it's built in, and now it's in the graphical user interface. Now you just click.
Very easy. And from the LOM, you can turn the Eagle on, turn on and off all the ports, We have all the settings, we have the data available in real time. So essentially, what you have usually in the Eagle Manager X is available now remotely, independently from the operative system. You can even check what is going on if the operative system has some problem and you cannot remotely log in. You can remotely log into the LOM because it connects to the Eagle power and sensor board, and you get all your data. And it's a very interesting
And
thing.
if you need to recycle the Eagle, you can, right?
You
there.
can do
Yep,
that.
yep.
Yeah, very easy. So that's the first big thing.
Yeah.
The second big thing.
The second big thing is the control ports.
Yeah. Light, very
tell
good.
them,
The
describe the
observatory
control ports.
actions.
Yes.
Yeah. So observatory actions are two ports that we added here. So control in and control out port. So, and we call them action because essentially you are able to connect external devices provided with a dry contact that can trigger an action that you can set in the Eagle Manager X. For example, you can turn power off if an external weather station detects rain. Or you may have a security system that you connect to the Eagle and turn power off if someone enters in your observatory without, so it's a security thing, for example. And the same control out port can be connected to mounts and domes that needs more power than the Eagle is able to provide.
Yeah, so they have their own power supply, so we can't just turn it off and on.
There
here.
you go.
Yeah.
That because
but we have to
would
tell
do
it to turn off. And
Yeah,
on. Yes.
yeah. So the thing is, in mount commonly used on normal telescope, usually they are 12 volts power. But if you have a mount 24 volts,
10 micron,
10 micron,
Paramount,
Paramount, this type of bigger mount, they need 24, 48. And how can you turn it on remotely? So you connect the mount to the Eagle and use the Eagle as a remote system to turn it on easily with a simple cable. So this is observatory action. And of course, we also upgraded the processors, we added more memory, and we added also Wi-Fi 6E. So now it's 3-band in order to provide even an extended
the Wi-Fi
range.
signal strength is much stronger now, much more stable.
Yeah. And just to mention, a small improvement that we added also are related to GPS signal that is stronger now, less sensitive to USB interferences. The inclinometer is more precise. I personally use that also to set my mount more or less to the real.
Yeah, I can almost be on Polaris
Yeah,
now
very
with the
close.
inclinometer, where it's just a slight little adjustment at the end.
Yeah. You always need to make a small adjustment with a polarscope, but you're very close because it's very precise. So
It's a great tool. It's a time saver.
So, and you installed the Eagle. Which model do you have?
This is the
here?
6 Pro.
That's the 6 Pro.
Yeah.
So this is on your telescope,
Yes.
really. So which telescope is it?
This is the Takahashi FSQ-85, the baby Q.
That's a beautiful telescope. It's an astrograph. It's a dream astrograph.
Yeah, I had always wanted a baby Q, and for my 50th birthday, I treated it.
Ah, that's great.
This
Well,
is my
you
favorite.
are a deep sky astrophotographer.
Yeah.
So this is the telescope
This
for
is
you.
the exact
So
telescope I want.
what did
So
you
we
do
were
on
able
that?
to fully automate this telescope, starting from front to back. We have the Giotto 120 for flat field calibration. We have the Alto one motor to swing it down into place.
Yep.
At the end of my imaging run, the software just automatically closes the cap and lights it up and shoots my flats for me. I don't have to
which
go
software do you use for your deep sky?
I use Sequence Generator Pro, but
Okay.
any software that speaks ASCOM can use this, or our own software Play.
Of course. You can use Play if you are a beginner astrophotographer, but if you are an experienced astrophotographer like you can install Sequence Generator Pro, use Nina, use DSkyX,
Any Windows app that you're comfortable with.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the Eagle platform, essentially, that we
It's open.
support any device in the market.
It's what you want. It's what you want to use.
There, very good, very
Yeah.
good. So, what if I change my focuser or your focuser?
It's what you want to use.
But-
Well, it's what I want to use.
Yeah, and which one will you want?
Esatto.
Esatto.
It's there. It's already there.
It's already there.
I just got it
Perfect.
there.
There you go.
This is the way I want it right now.
Esatto.
Yeah. So all the mounting hardware comes from us. It's called the Plus system.
Do you remember? Yeah.
PrimaLuce Universal
System. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
So the rings, the rails, everything is designed to line up with each other and fit. We have the rings that fit the Takahashi perfectly.
Yep.
Everything mounted to the Eagle 6 control computer in a single lightweight package that I just take off and put right in the case when I'm done shooting at the end.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of having the Eagle integrated with the telescope, is essentially that you create a all-in-one system composing of the telescope with all the accessory, the camera, the auto guider and everything, and all the cables stays permanently connected, installed. So when you finish, essentially you disconnected the entire part of the tube with all the accessories from the mount, you put in the box and you're ready to go.
Yeah, I take my cables off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't want anything
because
pulling.
For
I don't want
security.
anything pulling on the port. But I mean, I take the cable off, I put it in a bag.
Yeah.
And so I end up with 4 things. I end up with a tripod, a mount, a telescope, and a bag of cables.
Cables.
And that's it.
There you go.
And then I go home. And it takes me 5 minutes to set up, 5 minutes to tear down.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
really
this
great.
is one of the great advantages.
I mean, the Eagles is so structurally sound and rigid. It's a structural element of the telescope. It holds it all together.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of the first idea of the Eagle 10 years ago.
Yeah.
When we released that. We wanted it to be a structural element. And you can do this type of extreme telescope makeover to any type of telescope. Let's show another type of telescope. So this is an EdgeHD telescope by Celestron, and that is the 8
Very
inches
popular
model.
telescope.
Very
Probably
popular
the
telescope.
most popular reflector in the world.
Absolutely,
I would think.
it's so portable, but large diameter.
Yeah,
you can use for even for visual, but also for planetary astrophotography, for deep sky astrophotography. Given the fact that they have a dedicated focal reducer, so you can use it. And essentially, on this telescope, we have this similar situation than yours. So we have an Esatto focuser. In this model is the low profile because
and it's challenging to fit a low profile on here because of the mirror locks.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of hardware that you have to deal with on the back of an Edge telescope.
Absolutely.
And before we used the Esatto 2 one here, and it worked very well. But then we were limited in the backspace. We couldn't fit a rotator. We all wanted a rotator.
Yeah.
So Omar.
So that was one of the challenging requests that we sent to Omar and say, okay, now you have to create something that
we need something that is this thick and fits between those knobs.
Yeah,
and that's what he built us.
And he did that.
Yeah. And
How
so
can
now,
he do that every time?
Omar's magic.
Okay.
So
that's why we have it.
But the great thing about this, though, is that the Arco and the Esatto together are narrower than the regular 2 inches.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we even get back 5 or so millimeters, I think.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so now the full package fits behind there. So
and the Esatto, one of the things that we got asked a lot is that the Esatto is, the LP version is just 10 millimeter. And people that discover the Esatto low profile for the first time, they say, oh, it's too low. But in reality, it's not.
Oh,
because
they think the focus travel?
They said, oh, but it's too low because my regular focuser has a much longer travel. But if you think of what you really do during your
astrophoto, utilize that much of it.
I don't think more than 1 millimeter in reality. I mean, it's a very, very tiny movement. Essentially, you focus with the standard knob one time on the star, and then you lock the mirror, and then find just
set this to 5 millimeters halfway out, focus it, and then you have 5 millimeters each way. You'll never need more than that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And of course, we have on the front the Alto telescope cover motor with the Esatto, this time bigger because the telescope is larger, but we have all the different diameter available to support up
from
to
120 millimeters to 560 millimeters or bigger.
Or bigger.
You say on the website.
Or even bigger.
If you want bigger, contact us.
Last week, we got a request for a 70 centimeter telescope, and I was talking with Omar, and he was telling me, listen, you know that we could do that? We need to make some design because of the machining that we use in order to make that, but I think it's possible, even 70. Let's see what Omar magic.
He probably already has
he's
it up
thinking
here.
that. So let's move out
Well,
to the other
You
devices.
mentioned really big products. We got
Oh, yeah, yeah.
over here to show.
Let's show what we have more.
Yeah.
So
Well,
first
show
of
everyone
all,
about your book,
Yeah,
Filippo.
the
This is
book.
the latest version of your new book.
oh yeah, that is a funny project because essentially, the thing is that the book is related to play and how to use play, but the funny thing is that we wanted to develop play in order to let people starting in astrophotography use all our devices but also other devices, but in an easier way in respect to what you do with the NEAF, sequence generator. You know, these are very powerful software. You use it.
Yeah, I use SGP.
And
It wasn't easy to learn at first.
There you
but
go.
It's
So
very
that's
powerful.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. So you have a steep learning curve. Then when you reach that level, it's fine. So how can we help people to reach that level, even starting from zero? And that's why we develop Play. So Play is not only the software that we use to connect to our devices and even to update
Yeah, we use it
firmware,
for firmware and maintenance
and everything. But
yeah.
it is also a software that you can use if you want to have a very easy to use interface. And when I was testing and developing Play, whatever, and I was thinking, well, you know, we give as granted terminology and aspect of astrophotography that we perfectly know. But if someone wants to start in astrophotography, you have to teach them the very basic thing.
It's overwhelming at first.
You
it
know,
can be,
is how to make a correct polar alignment, how to make a correct weight distribution balance, and all these type of things. And I was thinking, okay, I'm in writing the manual of Play, but what if before the manual we introduce the basic concept, we explain how telescopes are made, why
work,
we
the
have
different
so
kinds,
many
yeah.
devices. What is the meaning of every device? Why do you need an automatic focuser for your picture? This thing we know
Yeah.
perfectly, and most of the people here at the NEAF, they know. But if you start, maybe you don't. And another interesting concept, I think, that is right now, companies like Celestron released the smart telescope. This is a brand new category of telescopes that do every step for astrophotography, deep sky astrophotography automatically. So they introduce people in astrophotography, and then what's next? The thing is that if you have a telescope like the Origin telescope, and then you move to this type of telescope, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
There's a big step. So Play has to be the software that you use first.
Like a conduit to introduce you to this
There
new
you
type
go.
of hardware.
You introduce.
How to integrate.
There you
how
go.
to-
So,
yeah.
and then you understand all the steps, and then you may go to NEAF, sequence generator, all the other.
Yeah,
You know. And that's why I wanted to really extend the user manual of Play to a real astrophotography book, where essentially I explain everything I've gained by 30 years of experience, because I started when I was 15. So it's really 30 years ago.
I'm surprised this book isn't thicker, Filippo.
Oh, it will be, because I'm progressively updating. So this is in fact the second edition.
Now you can get this through our regular PrimaLuce channel now, but you can also, if you want, just go
It's
download
free
it. Yeah, go
if you
download
want
the
to.
PDF
So
from
it's
our website.
included in Play. You click on the manual button, and it appears to this one.
Oh, okay.
So you go to the website, you can read it online or download it in PDF. And if you prefer
read it
to
inside
have,
Play.
or if you prefer to have the printed high resolution hardcover version, you can order.
We can order it.
And you get it.
We get it for you. And these are on the way from Italy right now. So if you want them,
yeah, perfect. Yeah, very good. So then, what do we have?
Speaking of new
Something really
oversized
different.
oversized product,
It's really oversized.
tell the world about Esatto Gigante.
So what it is essentially is Esatto Gigante is the huge version of our focusing solution. So really this is an Esatto 7.5 inches LP, low profile, matched with the Narco 7 inches rotator. And it's incredible. It can carry Me, maybe. No,
Yeah.
not really, because it has 40 kilo payload capacity.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a little bit more than, it's 90 pounds. 90
about
pounds,
90,
more or
yeah.
less, so 90 pounds payload capacity. But essentially, we designed this for a very large telescope that is built in construction by a research institute related to space application. And essentially, they asked us if we could develop a bigger version of ours, because they had this huge multi-sensor camera that has to scan the sky, and they have this huge camera that weighs 40 kilo. And they needed an Altaz derotator system because the mount is
It's
Altaz.
on a fork, yeah.
Yeah, so essentially they saw what we did with in order to let people do Altaz astrophotography. We did the Arco, what we developed together with Play and all the high resolution derotator. And they said, "Oh, can you do larger?" And
Sure.
of course, I
Yeah.
said, of course.
Yeah.
Omar said,
Omar's like,
it was really a challenge.
yeah.
Because it's
How long
not,
did it take, Omar?
that's a good question. Many months of work. I don't know precisely many. We can ask Omar, but essentially the problem was it's not simply a scale up.
No, it's a completely different
Yeah,
animal.
it's a different type of design. It required proper studies on related of mechanical parts because the mechanical stress that is applied on the focuser and on the rotator is completely different.
Yeah.
It's another level.
Yeah.
Another level.
Yeah.
Never considered by astrophotographers.
I would love to see the payload that ends up on this thing.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
love to
we'll see that in action soon because
Yeah.
they told us that.
They've taken
We'll see,
delivery
we'll see.
of
Yeah,
this,
yeah, yeah.
right?
We
That
already
it's
delivered,
installed
and we made one more for us to show that we can do these big things.
Yeah.
And if there is someone that has a larger telescope, then an Esatto 4 inches would be requested for.
Talk to us.
Yeah, ask us for a 5,
Clearly
6,
nothing's
7.
impossible.
Nothing is impossible. Perfect.
Yeah.
And
now,
then-
speaking of other new products,
New
and
product.
you mentioned earlier
Yes.
Celestron's new Origin.
Yes.
Let's talk about Giotto for
Yeah.
Origin. That was a
Yeah.
fun project.
Yeah, yeah. That has been fun to work with them. They are so nice
so
people.
great. Yeah.
And it has been fun even to make the presentation
Yeah.
video because I had to invent something crazy, you know.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite video of yours.
It's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun. I'm so happy you like it.
Give it a couple of minutes.
A couple of it's fun. So
Yeah.
essentially, what originally Celestron called us because they were searching for the best flat field generator in order to calibrate the origin they have in their factory. Because essentially they pre-calibrate the origin in their factory, and they said that they tested the different solution and they wanted to have a Giotto for their origin. So I think we sent them.
Well, the 150 millimeter one was
Well,
about
was
the right
based,
size, so
yeah.
we sent them a 150 millimeter size to test with.
Yeah, they
And
tested.
they
And
loved
they
it.
found, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So that's why we thought, okay, why don't we make something? And we were talking together with them, and why don't we make something
Let's make it fit.
for a customer?
Precisely, yeah.
Because right now, an origin user is able to rotate the camera, but at that moment, you should have to retake your flat.
The flats that they use at the factory are
It's
no
no more
longer valid. Yeah.
Yeah, so you need to have a flat field generator. And so we designed the origin, the Giotto 4 origin flat field generator in order to connect directly to the front part of the origin as a standard cap.
Yeah. It's just like their channeled cap.
Yeah,
Fits the same.
yeah, fits the same with the
And so this
connection.
is light tight. When it's not illuminated, you could shoot darks with it.
Yeah, because it's tight.
yeah, there's no
I
light
think
intrusion.
that it has not in a very bright ambient.
Yeah.
But in nighttime,
Well,
why
it would
not?
be just as
Yeah,
light as the
yeah.
factory cap. I
So
would think.
you can even use it as a cap essentially because it is a cap.
is a cap.
So and the thing is that the Giotto by itself creates the Wi-Fi network, so you can use it without a computer. And since the Origin telescope is commonly
Has
used
its own
without
computer
a
built
computer
in,
because
yeah.
it's built in, you can use the same smartphone or tablet that you use to control the Origin in order to control the Giotto. So it's very easy and
Log in, turn it on, go back, and
and
then
use it.
recalibrate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's easy. So that's a brand new thing we just presented.
Yeah, but that's not the biggest.
Yeah, let's show.
We have one thing bigger.
Very big. Yeah,
It's very
bigger.
big.
Let's see that. So we have it on display. Let's remove this.
I'll take it.
There you go. So this is our PL, that is PrimaLuce Observatory Station. So the PL Observatory Station use all our technologies with our design dome in order to create a fully remote control turnkey solution for a remote telescope. And essentially this use all our technologies in order to let people own and operate easily an entire, with a multiple telescope like this, more OTAs and do your own thing.
Now
And
we've installed several domes over the last few years, and we've learned
we learn a
what
lot.
works and what doesn't.
Yeah, so when we decided to design such a system, together, you, me, Omar, and the guy in the companies, essentially we said, okay, we could buy domes, but we learned some lesson. We saw what it worked and what doesn't, so we said, okay, we can do better.
Yeah.
Why don't we design our own dome?
If we built a dome, what would we do?
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. So essentially, we like the clamshell design because I think
Simple.
it's very simple.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, because the simple the better usually. So it's you don't
Especially
need.
if it's remote on a mountaintop, simple is better.
There you go. So you say, okay, let's base our design on a clamshell type and build something unique. And Omar came up with a very elegant solution in order to reduce the number of motors in order to fully open and close the dome, and to have the possibility to ship the dome already pre-installed from the factory, just divided into two parts. So when you
just ship
receive
it in
it,
2 halves?
2 halves, then you join, you fix it on the ground, and then you have your dome.
And the seal between the clamshell halves, they like fold
Yeah.
and seal
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
It's incredibly weather tight compared to some of the other ones that we've installed.
Yeah. And so essentially we are currently, well, let's say that this is our own observatory, because originally we
Most
needed
things we build out of a guilty, like a selfish kind of a pleasure. We build for ourselves.
Yeah. Most of the product that we do is like when we released the first Giotto, you called me and you said, "Oh, but you have to do a Giotto for my Edge 11. I need a Giotto for my Edge 11."
Yeah.
And that's why the Giotto 320, it perfectly fits the 11 inches EdgeHD.
Yep.
Or for this observatory, we wanted to use the Edge 14. This telescope is the Edge 14. So we have the Giotto 430 for this telescope.
Yeah.
Or like when many years ago, in 2017, I was shooting with my Edge 9.25 on the M1 mount, and I had to refocus all night long because I had no motorized focuser. And one night, I remember, after I got a successful night, but refocusing,
It was a lot of work.
a lot of work to do. And I said, Omar, we need to make this. This has to happen.
This has to stop.
Yeah. Okay. So, and he designed the Esatto focuser.
Yeah.
So usually this thing happen in the company. So
That's what I do with Omar. When
Yeah.
I come in frustrated in the morning off of something, I'm like, you have to help me.
and he does.
The way it usually goes down is I'll tell him that, and then I'll go to sleep. And then when I wake up, there's a text waiting for me with the 3D sketch.
Is it this
And he's
that
like,
you had
did you
in
mean
mind?
this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I meant
Yeah.
that's exactly what I meant.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It seems like he's always at work. Yeah, he is.
He is, even if he isn't. He is. Yeah.
But essentially, we designed this to be our testing bench for all our technologies.
Yeah.
And essentially, we designed the dome, and we are currently building the dome that is going to be installed in our space center close to the headquarters in Italy. And you will assess that from California. Huh? Remember that you will use that.
During the day.
Yeah, it's
I can do
perfect.
astronomy during the day.
There you
from
go.
Italy. Yeah.
And this will be live in a couple of months, I suppose. But then when we completed the design of the dome, we said, okay, now we never build telescopes. We buy optics. So I personally enjoy the EdgeHD because I love especially high resolution
You're a
moon
lunar
imaging.
guy.
Because
Yeah.
I'm a lunar guy, so I'm a geologist, so I have to look at that. The moon for me is a little bit different, you know, and so I love EdgeHD. And so we thought, okay, if we have the EdgeHD, we could have a RASA in order to have one telescope for planetary imaging and one telescope for deep sky imaging. And we were thinking about, okay, we buy these telescopes and then the mount.
What are you going to do with two big telescopes
Yeah,
like that?
so, and we were thinking, well, we could buy this one, we could buy that one. And at the end of the day, we decided together with Omar to design something different. Design the mount that we would like to use. Well, we designed the dome, so now why not try, at least try. It's an effort, it's a challenge, let's do it. And essentially, this mount actually exists, it's no more a project. It's in this moment is in the company.
I've seen pictures of it. It
Yeah,
exists.
it's real. So it's a Altaz mount, direct drive, 27-bit absolute encoder, 350 kilos photographic payload capacity. So it's even oversized for this telescope.
Yeah.
I can sit on top of that.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
And the max go-to speed is 19 degrees per second.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Why 19 degrees per second?
Well, so you could track low Earth orbit.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because I really want to take picture of the ISS satellite. Why not?
Yeah.
But you need
You
a
have to have a
clamshell
fast,
design.
accurate mount.
Yeah. So it is. Well, the mount itself, our aim is to have a mount that is sub-arc second resolution. So you don't need to guide, and it's so accurate that you can do anything you want.
Yep.
So we are building this for us. Let's see in the future.
Yeah.
Instead, actually, already we got a lot of requests for the dome. So I think they will be available in the near future. We'll
Very good.
see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Well, I look forward to that.
Yeah. So this is everything that we are presenting here at the NEAF. Thank you for watching the video.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it's for me. You know, it's a pleasure to be here. It's
always
with
great
you.
to have you in the United States
And
with me as well.
it's wonderful to
Yeah.
be here and show all the devices, everything that we develop, and I'm sure that will be more to come
Oh, yeah.
in the near future.
Stay
So,
tuned.
Absolutely.
Yeah.